2 new games hit our list since our spring 2018 update, and the upcoming fall season will have a number of heavy hitters looking to crack the list. But for now, these are the best 25 games you can play on your Xbox One. What can we say? Minecraft's open-world block building took gaming by storm in a way that most games can only dream of doing. Its charming style, simple multiplayer, and endless gameplay make it one of the greatest games ever made. Even without its unfortunate online troubles out of the gate, this collection of the first 4 mainline Halo shooters stands tall for its campaigns alone, particularly the completely remastered Halo 2 Anniversary. And now that the multiplayer functionality has long since been rebuilt into a perfectly workable state, Halo the Master Chief Collection is an absolute must-own. Using a hand radio, Oxenfree takes you through moments of a tragedy from the past as you solve an eerie island's secrets through creepy radio messages and intense conversations between the cast of 5 teenagers. Through convincing voice acting and smart dialogue, Oxenfree feels personal, even if your time as a teen has long passed. Its campaign may have been a misstep in the series, but Halo 5 not only packs the best gunplay in possibly the entire franchise, but also the best multiplayer since Halo 2. Halo 5's arena multiplayer pits combatants against one another on an even playing field, with great weapons and well-crafted maps to battle on. Warzone, meanwhile, is literally the biggest Halo multiplayer edition ever, with AI heroes thrown into the mix with 24 human players. Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition is one of the best couch co-op games out there right now. Driven by a constant flow of smashable enemies and ever more powerful loot drops, you can endlessly crawl through its campaign levels and randomized dungeons in search of legendary weapons and armor. In an era where multiplayer-less shooters are barely even greenlit, let alone turn out well, Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus swooped in and reminded us how good they can be. Nazi hunting BJ Blazkowicz is back to try and thwart the bad guys' American takeover, and the twists, turns, and moments of this story should not be missed. Ori harkens back to the glory days of Xbox Live Arcade by delivering challenging platformer gameplay wrapped in an absolutely beautiful visual aesthetic and topped by a sweet, somber story starring a charming lead. It will test your will at times, but such trials are well worth it. Though your character gains a voice in Fallout 4, the star of the game is definitely the Commonwealth. This wasteland is filled with history from both pre- and post-war, conveyed through fantastic environmental storytelling. Pair that with great companions and the ability to craft any sort of player character, and you've got one of the best adventure RPGs around. Monster Hunter World taps the vein of that incredible action RPG power climb against complex, mysterious, and utterly massive monsters. It's a world that feels alive thanks to the incredible attention to detail in the varied environments and in the beasts themselves. And just when you think you've conquered it, there's always something left to chase down. Dark Souls 3 sports exacting combat and an air of danger, but it reaches beyond that familiar identity with a grand sense of scale and a flair for making the destroyed and desolate feel absorbing and magnetic. The rewards of exploration, both material and experiential, make the Kingdom of Lothric difficult to pull away from. Cuphead's brilliance goes much deeper than its hand-drawn 1930s-style cartoon aesthetic. It also happens to be one of the best bullet hell shooters in years, with precise controls and genius Easter eggs like a black and white mode. After years in development hell, not to mention being a reboot of the actual greatest first-person shooter of all time, the 2016 edition of Doom has absolutely no business being as good as it is. Thing is, it's not just good, it's one of the best single-player shooters in years. It successfully modernized the fast-paced carnage of the original game without losing its spirit. Its colorful art style is gorgeous. Its sense of humor is hilariously self-aware. Its traversal trumps almost every other open-world game. Its missions all feel fresh and varied even when they're really not. In short, Sunset Overdrive is pure fun, all bottled up in a caffeinated beverage that feels so good when you drink it. Everything about Firewatch is brilliant. The naturally written characters, the use of humor, sadness, drama, and tension, the bold and colorful Olimos art style, the remarkable voice acting, and so much more. Firewatch is like a great book in that you won't be able to put it down and it'll stick with you for a while, long after you're done. Gears of War 4 switches developers, hands the key to a new generation of heroes, and successfully reinvigorates the franchise in the process. Sound familiar, Star Wars fans? It struck just the right balance of nostalgia and advancement, with an excellent campaign filled with variety and likable characters, a yes this is still totally fun versus mode, and revamped the groundbreaking Horde mode to make it better than ever. Titanfall 2 delivered the key things the original failed to: an outstanding single-player campaign and some meat on Titanfall's strong but otherwise skinny multiplayer bones. The multiplayer part was obvious: more Titans, more game modes, more maps. And Titanfall 2 delivered there. But that campaign almost came out of nowhere. It may not have had much of a story, but it's one of the best shooter campaigns of this generation on the back of its smart, variety is king design. Building upon the foundations of the first game, Dishonored 2 delivers a tense stealth experience with a multifaceted, artistically unique world to use to your advantage. Aside from creative powers and passive abilities, it really shines in a varied and surprisingly creative level design with distinct concepts that make different buildings feel like they almost belong in different games. In a good way. Overwatch is an incredible achievement in multiplayer shooter design. It bobs and weaves almost perfectly between being the quick fix adrenaline hit you might want after a long day of work and the thoughtful, strategic multiplayer experience that becomes the center of evening-long binges with friends. Packed with stunningly lit and uncannily authentic Australian landscapes, the greatest garage in any open-world racing game ever, and the best sound in the series so far, Forza Horizon 3 is an absolute triumph. Combined with its awesome driving feel, new co-op options, custom radio support, and that fantastic ability to edit and share just about every event in the game, Forza Horizon 3 isn't just the best racing game on Xbox One right now, it's one of the best racing games released this decade. The Witness is more than just a gorgeous island littered with hundreds of puzzles. It's a labyrinth of mysteries, waiting to be solved as you learn more and more about the enigmatic island. Seemingly confounding puzzles challenge us to take a step back and explore the world to understand new rules. And when we did, we always found something new to enjoy. Where some other franchises struggle to maintain their identity within a sandbox, Metal Gear Solid 5 thrives on it, turning all that open space into a tactical espionage playground. It hands you a useful set of tools, gadgets, helpers, and support abilities, and incorporates them all masterfully into the minute-to-minute gameplay, empowering you to conceive and execute a plan your way. No game in recent memory has rewarded player intelligence so generously. The Witcher 3 is a remarkable feat of open-world design savvy. Its two main sandbox areas are beyond massive, but their density actually matches their breadth. You can't go anywhere within its breathtaking landscapes without running into things to do. The best part is that almost every point of interest you come across ties back into one of the deepest lore pools in gaming, providing motivation and context for its detailed RPG systems and its brutal, responsive combat. Lara Croft's first post-reboot sequel raises the bar for the entire action-adventure genre. Freeform exploration sections plus a thorough crafting and XP system mean you've always got a new goal in mind. Combine it with Rise's gorgeous set pieces and compelling human story, and you've got one of the most complete, top-to-bottom, excellent games on Xbox One. It may be the same core game as its Xbox 360 counterpart, but that doesn't make it any less incredible. In fact, the Xbox One edition of Grand Theft Auto V earns extra points for taking an already huge, deep game and adding more soundtrack songs, more props to the cutscenes, more vehicles, and, biggest of all, an incredible first-person mode that makes the already seminal GTA V feel like a completely different game. The non-sequel follow-up to the sublime Limbo took 6 years to make, and it looks like 5 of those were spent on polish. Every pixel, animation, ray of light, and audio cue feels considered, not to mention the puzzles themselves. Inside won't strain your brain too hard, but its impactful non-verbal story will leave you contemplating what it all means for days after you finish. Inside is simply unforgettable and should not be missed. So there you have it. If you've got an Xbox One, these are the 25 games we think you've got to have. Look for our next update in the fall of 2018, and in the meantime, for all things Xbox, you're already in the right place, right here at IGN.